What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here. Happy Glocktober. Even though we're not going to be speaking about Glocks in this video, I'm sure they will somehow be mentioned though, because they always are. But before we get started, hit a like button, drop a comment down below, subscribe, help me get into the algorithms, help build this channel, and I will bring more and more content to you guys. Once again, thanks for supporting. A word I need to stop using though is ergonomics. It was pointed out to me by somebody in the comments that has been following me since 10,000 subscribers. Shout out to you. That's support right there. I appreciate it. I take all criticism in. So, not sure what word I'm going to replace with it. Not sure how I'm going to get around that, but I'll work on it. Anyway, Springfield Armory XDS. These are two firearms right here in the SIG 40 Shield, but chambered at 357 SIG. Now, I had to hesitate because you always get on me. You guys are like, oh, it's in every video. You talk about how you converted it. Yeah, because I think it's a great firearm and a super cool way to get a lot of power into a small firearm. But these are two firearms right here that I hear a lot of crap about, right? Even though I like both of them. Both are great shooters. Both have great power for their size, and I think that has a place in concealed carry, right? But let's start by comparing them. Once again, on the right is the XDS in 45. That's 6+1. And on the left is the Shield in 357 SIG. That is 7+1, but using the Magguts conversion kit. Now we come up top. The XDS is a bit longer, a bit wider. Barrel length is going to be a little bit longer on the XDS as well. Here's the profiles of the sides. Very similar in size, different calibers. It's going to change up the overall length and stuff like that. Now, in my opinion, the XDS feels better in the hand. Very ergonomic. Oh, gosh darn it. Sorry, guys. Feels very good in the hand. I'm struggling now. It feels very good in the hand, regardless of this grip safety. Now, I have the XDS in 45. I used to have the XDS in 9. I have the XD9, the XDM. I have a bunch of Springfield Armory firearms that have this grip safety. Never had it fail on me, but I have heard of it happening. But I do believe that someone said that there's a pin kit or something you can get to get it pinned down so it'll never fail on you. Now, in my opinion, you're never going to shoot the firearm where your hand isn't pushing it down a little bit, and that's all it requires, is a little bit being pushed down or compressing it for that trigger to go off. But the thing I will say about Springfield Armory, they always give you a great finish. The finish doesn't look the best, but it lasts. It doesn't rust. It doesn't, even when it scratches really bad, it does just fine. Now the sights they give you, on mine, I didn't get the fiber optic front for some reason, but I got the U-notch rear with that front white dot. I love the U-notch rears that Springfield Armory gives you on their firearms. I think right out of the box they're great. Nothing wrong with them, but I do want to get some night sights for this firearm. Now once again, this is 6+1 of 45. Now what would you do with that? Yes, you could carry this as your main carry, but here's the thing. When I took it to the range and I was doing double taps, this magazine went so fast. And it made me think, once again, that there's a reason for these firearms. And it's pocket carry. It's light carry. For instance, you're not going to the city. You're not going to the mall. You're not going to an area that tends to be dangerous. You're going to, the mailbox. You're going to take the kids on a walk through the woods. You're going on a trail hiking. It's just something super light, but it does have power. And with the right ammo, this is a really beast of a firearm. I use Extreme Defenders out of here. Once again, one of my favorite ammos. And that's because the Civil Liberty rounds don't do as well out of the 3.3 inch barrel out of a 45. But the Extreme Defender rounds do. They are a beast of a round, especially out of a 45. So 6+1, 7 rounds, you're going to be able to handle yourself in almost any situation. But once again, I like these as a pocket carry and a light carry option. Now the SIG Shield, the MMP 40 Shield, chambered in 357 SIG, is also a beast of a firearm. 357 SIG is super slapped on, super underrated, but the reason is it's overpriced. I believe I went to Fleet Farm and a box of 50 of 357 SIG was $62. Now I get, don't buy your ammo from stores like that, buy it in bulk and so on. But it's hard to find 357 SIG in bulk, and that's because it's a round that people consider dying and no one carries anymore. But at the same time, in my opinion, it's worth it for my work carry. Now, once again, this stays in my pocket. I need something light, reliable, and with a great finish on it for work. I can't be showing off a firearm. I can't be printing. I can't have my shirt accidentally lift off and I have a firearm showing. I just can't. So, it's got to be in my pocket, fully concealed, and this is the way to do it. This right here being 7 rounds of 357 SIG is going to be plenty for almost any situation. Now, when it comes down to it, the hinge trigger isn't the greatest, but it's good enough. And it has, the shields have some of the most aftermarket support that you can find. First is Glock, then it's SIG, then it's Smith & Wesson. They have so many aftermarket options out there for anything. Once again, I need to pick up some night sights for mine. I actually have some sitting upstairs, but I don't like them, so I need to get a new pair. But overall, these are 2 pocket rockets that will be able to get you out of almost any situation. But in my opinion, once again, these are light carry options. This shouldn't be your go-to main for most situations. I would recommend getting a firearm with a little bit more capacity for your main carry, like my Glock 26, my Hellcat, and so on. But for pocket carry and light carry, there's nothing wrong with these. Now, a major thing when it comes down to it for everyday carry that a lot of people don't speak on is situational awareness, and that awareness also requires you to think prior to where you're going, right? Before I leave the house, I decide what firearm I'm taking, and I base it all off of where I'm going. So if I'm going somewhere that tends to be fine, and then I know a group of 4 gangsters ain't gonna run up on me, then having 6 rounds of, or 6 + 1 rounds of 45 is gonna be just plenty. And also, these are optics ready. The Mod 2s have been released in an optics ready version. I have not seen an optics ready version for the shields unless they're chambered 9mm. I haven't seen them for the 40s. I don't think we'll ever see them for the 40s. You would have to send them away to be milled. But in this case, I don't need an optic on it. I'm actually fine without optics. I like my iron sights better. And also, when you're pocket carrying or light carrying, you want the lightest possible option for you. And that's something like these. You can't go wrong with either of them. They're both reputable firearms. They've both been around for a while. The XDS Mod 1 has also been around for a while. So you know these are tested, well-known, reliable firearms. I think the XDS did have recalls on it when they first came out, but that's a long time ago. That is not on the Mod 2s. These have all been great firearms for me. And regardless of hate, go shoot them at the range. Go pick them up. If you like shooting firearms, you'll love to shoot these. The 45 recoil is so manageable out of this small frame. It's unbelievable. Now, when I compared it, shooting it back-to-back with my Glock 30 SF, obviously my Glock 30 SF dominated this thing. But then when you really shoot them back-to-back and really think about it for the size and weight when they're unloaded, you're like, holy crap, the XDS can actually compete. It's actually manageable. And then the same with this. The Shield M40 can be a little snappy. And on my Shield 40 that's ported, I have another one that's ported, the Performance Center. When you shoot that, the recoil goes down dramatically low, right? But then you shoot 357 SIG next to it, and you notice the differences, but also the similarities of a ported 40 versus a 357 SIG in the same size and same weight firearm. And you notice that's almost what 357 SIG feels like, a ported 40. And that's absolutely amazing, especially when you consider the ballistics. And go look at the Civil Liberties Defense 357 SIG ballistic testing on gels and all sorts of things. They are just a beast of a round. They go through 3A body armor, and out of a short barrel, 357 SIG is what you want. People underestimate 40 and 357 SIG, but when you get all these carry firearms that have these shorter barrels, these 3-inch barrels, 3.1-inch barrels, 9mm isn't the greatest thing in the world. I'm just being honest with you. It's the most common, it's the cheapest, but it's not the greatest. If you want more power, more stopping power, out of a firearm that can do more, for instance, 357 SIG or 45, I feel more comfortable carrying these in the woods than a 9mm all day, every day. For instance, we're hiking through the woods, not necessarily in bear country, but you never know what comes around. I feel more comfortable with something like this than just your average 9mm. So these become a little more versatile than a 9mm when it comes to overall stopping and power behind them, especially loaded with the right ammunition. That is the biggest thing. But once again, 2 great firearms, the XDS Mod 2 and the M&P 40 Shield. And I did throw that Hogue grip on there to help with a little bit of recoil, also make it a little thicker for a little better grip on it. But overall, feels really good in the hand. Not ergonomic, but it does feel really good in the hand. Overall, 2 great firearms I trust my life with, and I do carry. So it is what it is. Thanks for watching.